Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase and review, we're going to be looking at the 1989 Autobot Small Pretender Pincher. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to have a detailed look at him in all of his modes. We're going to show you how the Pretender gimmick works. We can see how all of his accessories pretty much attach to the shell, how he fits in with regards to the Pretender gimmick. We can see how he looks with the rest of the other small Pretender Autobots. We can then see the difference, I suppose, in the size between the smaller and the larger Pretenders, the ones that were released in this country and indeed the ones that were released in Japan as well. And then of course we can finish up by doing some comparisons with some of the toys that have been released more recently, just to give you an idea of his scale and size. So before we get into that, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to this channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. Right, now this figure, I've got to confess, I always thought was a Decepticon, even though it's not, it's an Autobot. And I suppose it's probably because of the alternate mode, the fact that, you know, it is a Scorpion. And yeah, for that reason, it just gives me more Decepticon vibes than anything else. Right, before we have a quick look at absolutely everything, I want to show you a carded version. So this is exactly as you would have seen him in the shops. They came on huge backing cards. They didn't come on any boxes. This is a French Canadian card, so it's dual language. You can see there, that's why there's two languages. I've just knocked over a load of figures ready for the comparisons. Unfortunately, the bubble on this is slowly starting to come off, so I've got to be super careful. Before we do that though, I want to show you the beautiful artworks. You've got alternate mode Scorpion there, inner robot mode transformed, and of course, excuse the glare, Pretender shell. If we spin it around to the back, we've got all the things I'm about to show you, so all the accessories, how you can use them all in each mode, and indeed, funnily enough, it's showing you there the bits which I was just about to show you as well. We've got his tech spec there, and indeed his bio. If you want to pause, I'll just hold that there and read that in the one language, and pause and read that in the other language. Right, let's bring that up there. So again, on my own admission, by the time by the time the Pretenders came in, I was pretty much losing interest in Transformers because I didn't really like these or the concept. Now as an adult, I think they're fantastic. I love the gimmicks behind them, so let's have a look at them. So this is the outer shell. Things that you need to be aware of if you have to one for yourself is the age-old unfortunate hair coming off, and that is due to the fact of putting on and off the helmet. This is just the basic shell, so to be honest, if you wanted to just display the basic shell, you don't really need any other accessories. The arms do articulate, as in go around, that is it. The rest is completely fixed, fused plastic. But what we can do, and this is where again it's clever and I appreciate it much more as an adult, we can split this in half. I've got one body here just to show you. I've not done this in like forever, so let's see if I can get it to work. What we're going to do is we're going to put the body of the figure into the shell. So let's see if I can remember how we do this. Is that going to go in like that? It looks like that fits in there like so. There is a small gun that comes with him. We're going to have a look at more detail in the robot in a second, don't worry. There is the little gun that comes with it. Most important thing for this is that dowel. I've seen loads of these broken, unfortunately, because they've snapped off either in the robot's hand or perhaps in this little slot there in the inner leg. So now what we can do obviously is we can close this up like so. That is there. So there's your Pretender gimmick. Of course, the robot is hidden inside. This is the helmet that I was on about. So this is his helmet, and this is what will cause the damage when we put it over. This is where it gets clever as well. So the Scorpion legs on the back, you've got exactly that. None of these move. That's the tail, but you can attach this via this on the back like so and store that there. So again, if you want to store it in this mode on a shelf, you can do without having to worry about putting all the accessories. This is his main blaster as well. Things to be aware of with this is that it does get a bit sun faded, to be honest. It's quite pliable as well, to be honest as well. And pop that in his hand there. There we go. Right, before we take him out and have a look at the Scorpion mode, let's have a quick look at just, I suppose, the standard robot mode. So there's the robot itself. Tiny little head, no articulation. Nope, you can see where it's all molded in. You can move the arms out to the side and down, and that is it. No other articulation. The legs will bend, but that is only for transformation purposes. Things to be aware of is screws, because again it's old, and of course they can rust and corrode. The little gun, again, you can just pop in his, it's not even in his hand really, it's, well, I suppose it is, but it's not what you'd expect. It's not the claw. There is the little robot mode. Let's have a look at the Scorpion then. So obviously you would only get one of these. I've just got a couple for dual display, so you do need to take his head off, his helmet off, so you can of course set him free. Once we've set him free, don't forget the little blaster as well. That does stay in there. Yeah, so you can sometimes bonus on the secondary market. You can buy what you think is just a shell, and you might be lucky enough to find an inner robot gun just stuck securely on the inner leg. So I've took the robot out. I'm going to put the helmet back on, and again I'm going to be displaying that like so. So for dual display, the legs are already folded over on this, so what you would do from the robot mode is you'd fold the legs over like so, bring the pincers around like so. The head obviously doubles up in both ways. Now you can, if you want to, you can put this of course in what is the fists, but it is supposed to go on the back like so. And then indeed you've got the legs and the tail. There is your huge cutout underneath, and then this will just fit like there. So there you go, there's just Scorpion's tail. And as I say, to me, not very Autobot-y, if that's even a word. This is more Decepticon-y, again not a word, due to his alternate mode. You always find that Decepticons tended to be monsters or beasts, and the Autobots never really were. But as soon as I say that, I'm going to contradict myself right now by bringing in the other small pretender Autobots, and there of course is Longtooth, which is of course a beast. This is double header. This one always makes me laugh because they're supposed to be pretenders, and there's not many two-headed human beings that I've ever seen. Anyway, right, very quickly now, just a few more things to show you. These were what was classed as the small pretenders. These were the larger pretenders, so you can see the outer shell is much bigger, and the inner robot is again much bigger. And although this guy was only released in Japan, which is going to segue into what I was about to tell you, it's still a large pretender shell. It's a little bit bigger than the standard ones, but this was of course the main man in Japan for these particular figures. This was a year before as well. The small pretenders were 1989, the larger ones were 1988. And that's what I was going to segue into saying. This particular mold was only released in the US, and again, you know, French Canadian market. It wasn't released in Japan, so it doesn't have a Japanese ID number. It was never used or sold in Japan, only in the rest of the world. But I really think I've pretty much covered. Oh no, I haven't. I need to show you or give you an idea of his size. So if you stop collecting Transformers by this sort of time and you were mainly buying the earlier generation 1 stuff, let's give you an idea of how big he is. So he's about the same size as a triple changer, not as big as Optimus Prime. The inner bot is a little bit bigger, sorry, smaller, depending on the size. He's smack in the middle of your mini bots. So again, if you were collecting G1 and pretty much stopped, like loads and so many people who I know stopped around about the Pretender time, myself included, I've got to confess, because I didn't like, as I've already said, the gimmick or the way they were going with regards to newer figures. In fact, let's do some third party first, because they're all at hand. There is a Dr. Wu, there is an Iron Factory. This one, where have I just knocked him over? That's what you heard falling off a minute ago. There's a New Age figure. And indeed, there is a Magic, and I've just dropped him as well. That is a Magic Square figure. So with regards to third-party legends, they are very small. Now let's try and knock all these out, not knock any of these more over, and show you some more of today's figures to give you an idea. So core class figure, way bigger than the inner robot, way bigger, which you can see right there. Deluxe figure, there is of course detritus. So that's pretty much what you're looking at. You're looking at the fact that he is about a deluxe size figure. Excuse me. There's a larger deluxe size figure, but that gives you an idea there of his size. Well, hopefully I've covered everything about this particular figure. He does look great. Again, I really like the Pretenders, and you should give Super God Master Force, even though he's not in it. If you don't really like the Pretenders, give Super God Master Force a chance, because it will hopefully change your opinion on them as well. There we go, guys. This is the 1989 Autobot Small Pretender Pincher. Let me know what you think of him in the comments. Take care.